My wife cheated with her jobless ex and schemed to take half my company until the court exposed her lies. I'm 35 years old and the owner of a thriving tech consulting firm that I've built from the ground up over the past 10 years. It's been a challenging journey, but today the business runs smoothly, allowing me to live comfortably without constant financial stress. I've been married to my wife, Olivia, who is 33, for the past 2 years. Our relationship spanned 5 years in total, and for most of that time, I believed we were happy. Unfortunately, it seems I was the only one who felt that way. Olivia used to work in public relations, but shortly after our wedding, she decided to step away from her career to focus on our relationship, or so she claimed. Initially, I was supportive of her decision. We were financially stable, and I assumed she would eventually return to work. I didn't mind being the sole provider because I wanted her to feel secure. However, looking back, I realize I missed the warning signs. Over the last few months, Olivia became distant and cold, as if she had emotionally checked out of our marriage. She would often leave the house without explanation, citing vague reasons like meeting friends or needing space. I dismissed it as a phase, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. One evening, Olivia told me she was going out with friends and would return late. I didn't question it, as this had become routine. Later that night, while working on a project, I heard her laptop chime from the kitchen. Curiosity got the better of me, and I glanced at the screen. A message from someone named Ryan appeared saying, "Can't wait until this is over. We'll finally be free." My stomach dropped. I opened the chat and discovered that Ryan was Olivia's ex-boyfriend, a man she had once described as lazy and unmotivated. Their messages revealed a months-long affair and a calculated plan to leave me and take half of my assets, including my business. They discussed how Olivia would secure a hefty divorce settlement, allowing them to live comfortably on my hard-earned money. The betrayal cut deep. Olivia had never contributed to the business, yet she and Ryan saw it as their ticket to an easy life. I spent the entire night processing the deception, replaying every red flag I had ignored. The next day, I confronted Olivia. When I mentioned Ryan's name, her face paled. She tried to deflect, accusing me of invading her privacy, but I stood my ground. She eventually admitted to the affair and coldly declared, "I want a divorce, and I deserve half of everything." Her entitlement was staggering. She claimed she had sacrificed her career for me, but in reality, she had chosen to stop working. I refused to let her manipulate the situation. "You're not getting half of my business," I told her. "You've done nothing to earn it." What Olivia didn't know was that years ago, my mother and I had placed the business and major assets under her name for legal protection. This decision, which had seemed like simple financial planning at the time, now became my saving grace. When we entered mediation, Olivia and her lawyer were confident they could claim a significant portion of my wealth. But their smug expressions vanished when my lawyer presented the documents proving the business belonged to my mother. Olivia's lawyer scrambled, arguing that she was entitled to compensation for her role in the marriage, but the facts were indisputable. The court ruled in my favor, stating that Olivia had no legal claim to the business or its assets. She was granted a modest settlement, far less than what she had anticipated. As the verdict was read, Olivia's face twisted in fury. Her grand scheme had failed spectacularly. Walking out of the courthouse, I felt a wave of relief. The ordeal had been exhausting, but justice had prevailed. Olivia's lies and greed had cost her everything, while I retained what was rightfully mine. After the court's ruling, Olivia's fury only intensified. She refused to accept defeat and launched a smear campaign against me, spreading lies to mutual friends and even posting vague but damning accusations on social media. She painted herself as the victim, claiming I had manipulated finances to leave her destitute. Some people believed her, while others saw through her desperation. I chose not to engage in her games. My lawyer advised me to stay silent and avoid any public confrontations. "Let the legal outcome speak for itself," he said. Instead, I focused on repairing the damage she had tried to inflict, both professionally and personally. A few clients reached out, concerned about the rumors. I addressed their questions honestly but discreetly, assuring them that my business remained stable and that my personal life wouldn't affect our work. Thankfully, most of them valued our long-standing relationships and dismissed Olivia's claims as the bitter fallout of a failed marriage. Meanwhile, I tightened the legal safeguards around my company. My mother and I restructured a few assets to ensure no future disputes could arise. I also hired a PR consultant to monitor my online reputation, just in case Olivia escalated her attacks. The emotional toll was harder to manage. Trusting someone so deeply, only to be betrayed, left scars. I threw myself into work, but the loneliness crept in during quiet moments. Friends encouraged me to take time off, even suggesting therapy, but I wasn't ready to unpack everything yet. Then one evening, I received a call from an unexpected source. Ryan. His voice was hesitant. "Look, I know you have no reason to believe me, but I need to tell you something." I almost hung up, but curiosity won. "What could you possibly say that I'd care about?" He sighed. "Olivia lied to both of us. She told me you were abusive, that she was trapped. I didn't know about the business stuff, not until the court case. She made it sound like you were hiding money from her, not that it was legally protected." I scoffed. "And you're only realizing this now?" "Yeah, because she dropped me the second the judge ruled against her," he admitted bitterly. "She was using me just as much as she used you. I lost my job over this. People found out and my reputation's wrecked. I just wanted you to know the full picture." The irony wasn't lost on me. The man she'd betrayed me for was now another casualty of her schemes. Months passed. The divorce was finalized, and Olivia faded from my life, though I heard through the grapevine that she'd moved to another city, likely to escape the fallout of her own actions. I started dating again, cautiously. Not because I was eager to replace what I'd lost, but because I refused to let Olivia's betrayal make me cynical. I focused on building genuine connections, taking things slow. Work thrived. With the legal battles behind me, I expanded the business, launching a new division that quickly became profitable. My mother, ever the shrewd advisor, joked that we should celebrate by taking a vacation. For the first time in years, I actually considered it. A year later, I received a letter. Handwritten, no return address. "I know you'll never forgive me, and I don't expect you to. But I wanted to say I'm sorry. Not for the court case, but for the lies. I was angry, and I thought I deserved more. I was wrong. I hope you're doing well. Olivia." I stared at the page, torn between tossing it and keeping it as a reminder. In the end, I tucked it away in a drawer. Not because I owed her closure, but because I'd moved on enough to no longer care. The business was mine. My future was mine. And for the first time in a long time, I was at peace. 5 years later, I stood on the balcony of my new penthouse, overlooking the city skyline. The business had grown beyond what I'd ever imagined. Now a multinational firm with offices in 3 countries. The scars of the past had faded, but the lessons remained. One evening, as I scrolled through my phone, a news notification popped up. Former PR executive arrested in multi-state fraud scheme. My breath caught. There she was. Olivia, her mugshot staring back at me. The article detailed how she'd been running a high-end romance scam, targeting wealthy entrepreneurs by faking relationships and siphoning money from them. Ryan, now a whistleblower, had helped the FBI build their case. I closed the article, feeling neither joy nor sorrow, just quiet acknowledgement that karma had come full circle. A week later, my assistant informed me that Ryan was in the lobby, asking to see me. Against my better judgment, I agreed. He looked older, wearier. "I know I don't deserve your time," he began, but I wanted to apologize in person. I was a fool to believe her. I studied him. Why now? Because seeing her arrested made me realize how deep the lies went, he admitted. I lost everything. My job, my savings, my dignity. I'm testifying against her, but that's not why I'm here. I just needed you to know I regret my part in it. I nodded. We were both her marks. The difference is I moved on. That night, I sat down with my mother to discuss the future. "It's time to make it official," I said, sliding the paperwork across the table. The documents transferred full ownership of the business to me, a symbolic gesture since we both knew she'd always trusted me to lead. She smiled. "Your father would be proud." The next morning, I announced a new company initiative, a foundation to support entrepreneurs rebuilding after personal or financial betrayal. It felt like the right way to close that chapter. by turning my pain into someone else's opportunity. On the anniversary of the court ruling, another letter arrived. This time, it was from a federal prison. You won. In every way that matters. I hope my failure helps you sleep better at night. Oh. I burned it unread. The flames curled around the paper, just like the past, no longer had hold of me. Outside, the sun rose on a new day, one I'd built for myself, free from shadows. If you enjoyed this story and felt the emotions behind it, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more real-life experiences and heartfelt stories. Your support means the world, and it helps us bring more content like this to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.